if they dogs, if they really dogs, they gonna eventually bloom. And you see it's paying off for them two boys, Eddie Reed Blankenship. First of all, Eddie Reed Blankenship was that guy last year. We didn't know about Nakoby Dean. We were just saying give it some time. But now the time has come, and it looked like my boy ready. Welcome back to the Down South Philly Show. I am your Down South Philly co-host, Don. We got the other Down South Philly co-host. What's going on, y'all? We back. Back for the first time, like Luda. Been a long week, but for different reasons. Cause after a win like that, like you just ready to get back on the field and whoop some more ass. But before we do that, we gotta go ahead and say our final pieces. There's been a lot of chatter still, so we're gonna get to it. Yeah, it's one of the things I seen people like whether it be the media, fans, analysts, they gonna always have some kind of overreaction to number one, the quarterback. So in the Green Bay game, Hurts threw 2 interceptions. Now I haven't watched any of like the little daily sports shows, anything like that. I don't know what they've been saying. I got an idea what they've been saying, but I know what's been said. Just fans and social media wise and stuff like that. So a lot of people overreacted. Hurts threw interceptions last year, which I think a lot of what was due to a lot of people can't forget what you did. Like they gonna always tie what you did in last season to this coming season, which sometimes is justified. But where Hurts throwing more interceptions last year than usual, he come in his first game and throw 2 interceptions. It's like, oh man, he back on that, whatever. But I don't necessarily think that's the case. And even if it was, I wouldn't overreact to a 1-game sample size, because it could be many reasons why that happened. For example, I will say I didn't like that first interception he threw. I don't quite know what he saw or what he thought he saw. I do think sometimes Hurt has he tried to force the ball sometimes or make like big plays or whatever. So, I do think he does that at times. But the first interception, I don't know what he saw on that one. I didn't like that one. The second one, we in the red zone, man. At this point, I'm just trying to, if ain't nothing wide open, go ahead and either check it down or throw the ball away or something. You had to eat that and just kick a field goal. We need them points, especially in a close game like that. Sometimes you got to play smart ball. And that's one thing I like about the greats, Tom Brady and them boys like that. They ain't going to too quick throw no interception in the red zone. They going to get rid of that ball or they going to make a safe throw. But that one particular second throw, I think he just thought AJ could, he was wide open for a second. I think Hurts kind of like saw him last minute because he was scrambling. And then I think he wanted to give him a jump ball, but slippery field. He slipped trying to come back to the ball and, gave the cornerback a chance to come and get it. So I think he's going to be okay. We'll see what he do the rest of the season. I do like the addition of Kellen Moore to this offense. I think that's going to I think over time they'll build a chemistry. One thing I do think Hurts need to get better at is just hitting the open guy, man. Everything ain't gotta be a big play. If you go back and look at, not only that game, but other games, there's been times where he, trying to force the ball to AJ and Dallas Goedert or, running back wide open. So, sometimes you just got to hit the open guy and let them make a move. Let your playmakers make a move for you. You ain't got to chunk the ball down the field and get everything all in one play. So that's my thoughts on the Hurt situation. What you been hearing about it?
The same old Hurts. The supernatural funk still ain't over. Still turnover prone. All the usual. Saying that we didn't look good because it was a lot of mistakes. Even though it was a lot of good plays made, the bad things was like overshadowing it. They were saying that Hurts wasn't making. He made bad decisions the whole game. It just was a lot of overblown stuff that just I feel like the majority of it could just be chalked up to it being week one with no preseason. It was a lot of I saw a lot of rust. Of course, the field was slippery, but it was slippery for both sides, so you can't really say too much on that. But I know from an Eagle standpoint, like not getting them live reps, it matters, and especially when it comes to tackling and implementing two brand new schemes on both sides of the ball. But I think that everything that I saw a lot of great things. Just to reiterate, like we had a reaction video to the game, but just to accentuate the positives again, Saquon looked as advertised. I know coming into the game, a lot of haters said that he was, damaged goods or he wasn't gonna get off over here, and you see what that ended up being. Some of the media talking about his touches and how that's not sustainable because he's been known to be injury prone. Stuff overblown stuff again. But like I said, the Hurt situation, we can't overlook the fact that he had the 3 turnovers. But when you dissect it, you peel back the layers a little bit. Yeah, the first interception, while it was egregious, and I still don't know what he really saw. Um, at the end of the day, that was the first drive of the season. And I just attribute it to Russ. Was it a bad decision? Yeah. And it looked like Saquon was open underneath for the check down. But, coming into the season, that I feel like even though it was a bad play, it showed us that one, defense could step up and hold us down in a pinch. And two, Hurts one gunshot from last year and all the turnovers that he had. So I would rather. I mean, obviously, you don't want your quarterback making them kind of throws, but you also don't want him to be timid either. So it was good to see that he, from that standpoint, he still wasn't afraid to make a hard throw, even though that was more like an impossible throw. But he wasn't scared to make it. The second turnover, I don't even put that on Hurts, and nobody is even really talking about the fact that the ball got snapped early. Like, I mean, what he supposed to do? At that point, it's like a 50-50 thing. If it don't bounce your way on the fumble, yeah, that's one of the turnovers that they talking about. Because I mean,
I forgot
they
about
don't put it in the context when they say 3 turnovers. They just say 3 turnovers, like he was running with the ball, like last year in the first game where he got popped against New England. That was different, but it wasn't that. It was just a bad snap. You could attribute that to more rust, and having a new center. But even with that, I can't even say new center because as great as Kelsey was, he was gonna give you 2 or 3 crazy snaps. Maybe not a game, but a season. So I mean,
yeah, he was. He was gonna throw the ball over Hurts' head at least.
So I mean,
2-3 times.
Nobody is perfect. Overall, I feel like everybody had a decent game. Most importantly, survival. That's what week one is really about. Really, the first month of football is really about surviving and seeing like who's really good, who is getting lucky, who just getting some bad breaks. Eventually good teams will kind of sort themselves out and rise to the top. So
cream gonna rise to the top.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody just need to relax. What I will say though is it's funny how everybody flipping now that they see Nakoby Dean and Blankenship making these plays. We told y'all.
Man,
We told y'all.
who
We
y'all,
told
man?
y'all that they was dogs. Just give them
Yeah.
time. Same thing that we saying about Nolan. Same thing that we saying about Jordan Davis. Just give them some time to get used to the next level. And if they dogs, if they really dogs, they gonna eventually bloom. And you see it's paying off for them two boys, Eddie Reed Blankenship. First of all, Eddie Reed Blankenship was that guy last year. We didn't know about Nakoby Dean. We were just saying give it some time. But now,
Right.
The time has come, and it looked like my boy ready.
All you got to do at this point is stay healthy.
That's it. Cause he got a dog. He got a dog in the reins. You think Devin White ain't ready to step back in there if you want to? Because I still think he got a lot left in the tank, and it's just an unfortunate injury. That's how it is. It's next man up, and Nakoby Dean took that opportunity and turned it into a starting role, at least for the next game. So I feel like they both gonna get to play throughout the year. It's gonna be injuries. Can't avoid that, but I think that's a testament to the depth that we got on defense. So it's good to see some of them boys be able to get in there and hold it down while I wouldn't say starter, let's say 1A and 1B. That's what it's like right now. Some interchangeable parts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I know that was a little long rant, but I had to get that off my chest about the overreactions of the week for the Birds.
Man, I think I didn't realize what the injury was, but I seen them talking about it on either Instagram or Twitter or something. But Isaiah Rodgers, he broke his hand.
I didn't know that. Apparently, that was the last practice of training camp.
Yeah, the last
they
practice.
Kept that hush. I was like, they kept that hush because I didn't hear about that till like a couple days ago.
And they making it seem like he got a little small injury.
I'm thinking he had a swollen hand or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking I don't know, but I'm just thinking it's like a 1 game thing. Probably needed to, like you said, some swelling go down or whatever. But just like a 1 game thing, so he might not be back for maybe till after the bye week or something. But we'll see. And I'll say the Devin White thing. So I guess apparently Nakoby Dean had already won the starting job.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what Vic was saying in his interview. He was just saying he thought that he won it, from beginning of camp to end. But I mean, I think people having an overreaction to that. They like, I thought Devin White. Man, look, y'all gotta stop doing this, man. People gotta stop penciling people in. Like, even though I thought Devin White was gonna be a starter, I'm not like shocked. Like, oh man, Devin White, he'll bust. No, we know what Devin White is. I think can he get better in his run defense? He could be a better run defender. I think that's probably what gave Nakoby Dean the nod over, because he can't cover better than Devin White. But I think he a good enough cover and a really, really good run defender. So that just gave him the edge, because at the end of the day, you want to stop that run. And if you're going to be pretty decent in coverage, and you ain't a total loss out there, that's going to give you the edge. And we saw what Nakoby Dean was doing. Man, he's shooting them gaps. Man, he in that back. All he got to do, his only step now is when you get there, make the tackle
and catch that ball, man.
Yeah, because it was a few times. I'm sorry, he was in the backfield the whole game, but it was probably a good 3 plays where he got back there and the person got away or whatever. Or maybe he might have just still slowed him down and the next person got on. If you can slow him down. But if you can get back there and go ahead and make that tackle in the backfield, go ahead and get him down. I just think he be through there so fast. He don't been broke down. He ain't got himself under him.
My favorite play is when it was a screen and he just read and reacted on it.
Jack
Came
Buddy,
down here.
man, he's still out there on the field. Hey, back in the day on the old Madden, John Madden used to be like, that was a decleater. Hey, but yeah, he was all over the place. Zach Bond, they didn't gave that man a new name, Sack Bond. He out there all over for real.
He earned it though. I see why he was always in the rotation for the starting
Right.
linebacker, because whenever we heard reports, it was Zach Bond and Nakoby, or Zach Bond and Devin White. So he was always in the rotation.
Yeah, he and what's crazy about that thing, but what's crazy about, and I've been saying this since we got him, but one reason why I'm really not worried about this defense is because I know Vic know what he's doing. I know he know which players to put out there. I know he know how to adjust, and I know he knows, what players fit in what role and what position or whatever. Because if you look at his interview, he was saying that he didn't know that Zach Bond could be what he was that first game, but he was saying when he saw him, man, because if you look at his role with the Saints, he wasn't a starter. He wasn't. So just he was. Yeah, and then he really was just getting in when just in the rotation. He was getting in the rotation. Then I think somebody might have got hurt. He might have got a little bit more time towards the end, but at the end of the day, he didn't play. He wasn't a starter. So just from that small sample size, Vic was able to tell, hey, this boy might be able to come over here and start and do X, Y, and Z or whatever. So, he know how to evaluate talent. He been around for a while. I think even looking at people like Nolan Smith, if you go back to last year, his rookie season, I don't think we had a very competent defensive staff. So that might have even hindered some of those new guys' progress a little bit. But now that you got somebody in here like Vic, now he know what to do. He know what to do with them. So give Nolan Smith some time, man. Vic gonna get him right. He gonna put him in the right position to succeed. He gonna use him how he need to be used. And some of that is just watching what he do in games. He might have to watch him for a few games. And you be like, you know what? I think I don't want to do this with Nolan or whatever. So people gotta understand that this stuff needs time. And a lot of players develop a little bit slower than others, and some they come in the league as dogs. Nah, that ain't everybody. That's 1% of the 1%. But give these players time to develop. Jordan Davis, I thought Jordan Davis had a good game. He was standing them dudes up, man, clogging up the run. Now, later on in the game, they did start getting off, but I mean, it's the first game. We got to make our adjustments. We got to get our condition and game conditioning all the way. Because the only way to get game conditioning is playing games. People say a lot of stuff about the preseason, but even if the starters did play in the preseason, they wasn't playing a full game. So it's only so much you can say about. Yeah, it's only so much you can say about the players not playing in the preseason. I think one of the benefits of playing in the preseason, especially for the offense, is just like getting maybe a little operational stuff down, center, quarterback type stuff like that. But honestly, it's not really a big deal for me, like whether they play or not. Would I like to see them for a series or two? Yeah, get them out there for a series or two. But if they don't, just because that's how the coach feel. That's how the coach feel. We'll see them in the season. And now, if you look around the league, all the teams that played their guys in the preseason, they still had sloppy games. It wasn't too many games that I felt like, that wasn't a sloppy game.
Maybe the 49ers, they was probably.
I was just about to say that San Fran game, they looked pretty good. Shanahan a different kind of technician over there, though. He very detailed. People always talk about how detailed he is. Like, it's not too many people they talk about being as detailed as him. So I think that's a unique situation. But if you look around the league, that's 1 out of 32. So it wasn't too many games. And then a lot of times what keep teams from looking sloppy is their opponent. If you playing a sorry opponent, you might come out there and look good week 1 if you didn't have a preseason. Like that Dallas game. Now, I didn't see the Dallas game, but from the highlights, it looked like they was rolling. They didn't play in the preseason, so they would lead you to believe that everybody don't have to play in the preseason, but sometimes it's so many variables in that. Like I said, sometimes it depends on your opponent. Sometimes it depends on the field. It's a lot of things that go into that. Ed Reed Blankenship, y'all get off my boy. I done told y'all, man. Get off Ed Reed Blankenship. That's the man right there. He a dog.
On him now though. Now that they done seen his playmaking, everybody, he a dog. All of a sudden he a dog like he ain't been one.
Yeah, this is not this man's first rodeo. This is not this man's first rodeo. I don't see why they was giving them the trouble they was giving them in the first place. I didn't see them doing nothing that was not. If you go back to last year, everybody was looking suspect, but I don't think it was the players. I think it was the coaches. I think it was the scheme. Like sometimes you gotta be able to put stuff into context. So I don't really put too much stock into last season at all.
Some more overreactions. The pass rush. Everybody's so worried about our pass rush when the field conditions was just terrible for both teams. Everybody wanna point to Josh Huff not really getting off like they expected him to. Kind of complaining a little bit about Nolan getting more playing time or playing at least the same or more than Josh Huff when we can't get a pass rush with that kind of field. It's impossible. As a matter of fact, I think the field has something to do with our sneaks. Because we wasn't able to get the kind of traction that we usually get to get up under the defense. Right. So that's another thing that they saying, they can't do the sneak no more. They ain't got Kelsey. Now I think it's all related to the field again.
Keep on thinking we can't do them sneaks no more. We're gonna sneak right in. We sneak right on in there. But I don't put a lot of stock into that stuff. Like you said, the field had a lot to do with some of that stuff. And like you said earlier as well, first game of the season. Now, I do want to speak on this too, the first game of the season thing. Now, if some people would be like, well, nah, you giving them an excuse or, man, facts are facts. It's the first game of the season. Nobody is trying to baby them or sugarcoat them. The first game of the season, stuff just happened. Now, it's not like we're the coach. I'm the coach, and I'm just like, hey, guys, we ain't going to correct none of that stuff. It was the first game of the season. I'm a fan. Now, as a head coach, the head coaches, and y'all know Nick Sirianni, if you watch his interviews, he's not going to take them guys in there and be like, hey, we ain't got to worry about correcting none of that stuff. I know it's the first game of the season. That's not what kind of coach he is. But as a person who's watching the game, a fan of the game, a fan of the team, a fan of the NFL, we know this happen every year. First game of the season. Nobody's in mid-season form the first game of the season. So some of this stuff you got to be able to use your brain and, hey, that's the first game of the season stuff right there. But I think we're gonna be all right. I do expect for a lot of that stuff to get cleaned up going into the second game. We'll be at home. So I think that'll help us out a lot. But as far as like the overreactions and thoughts on the game, that's pretty much what I got. I do like the way we was running the ball. I think hopefully we continue to run the ball like that. I think it was a lot of overreaction to Saquon getting the 26 touches. A lot of people kept asking him about that and asking the coaches, is this sustainable? Man, look, every game is not going to be the same. It depends on the flow of the game. It depends on what the game called for. I'm sure it's gonna be games that come. Unfortunately, I'm sure it's gonna come games that we wish that he getting more carries. But how many times in the season have we not been mad that they didn't run the ball enough? I'm sure it's coming.
It's about every game.
Um,
I mean, even in this game, I don't feel like he ran it enough.
No, we didn't, and it didn't even have to be Saquon every time. You saw what Gainwell did when he got the ball. And then that's another overreaction that people have. Saquon was having such a good game that if any other back would have got in and got no gain or a yard, people would have been mad. But Saquon might have got in and been in that same situation on that same play. So people would be overreacting. So we do need to use the other guys as well. Saquon need to breathe and put Gainwell in. Gainwell more than capable of coming in and relieving Saquon for some snaps or whatever. So the 26 things, I'm not really worried about us overusing Saquon. Every game gonna be different. Some games we gonna AJ gonna get a bunch of targets.
Some games he might get only 15 touches total.
Yeah, he might only. Yeah, so I'm not worried about that.
My last overreaction is just going back to week 1 and how people were just running with the narratives that because something happened to a team that they comparing to them last year, that it really means something. It's just one game. It don't mean that you suck. It don't mean that you're great. Obviously, it was maybe a handful of teams or less than a handful of teams that actually look good. But just to say that a certain team beat another team, it really don't hold no weight because we don't know what kind of team lost and we don't know what kind of team won that game yet. It's too early to tell either way.
We don't know if Green Bay is the same Green Bay from last year because automatically people are gonna go ahead and put you, for the most part, unless you Philly, we can go ahead and win the Super Bowl and next year they're gonna be talking about we in last place or something. But for the most part, everybody else, they gonna keep them in their same spot. They wanted to, say Green Bay is, the team from last year or whatever. But at the same time, we beat them. We not getting no credit for that. We not really getting no credit for being a team that they deem to be a playoff
Super Bowl team. People saying they had Super Bowl aspirations this year.
Exactly, and we won that game with 3 turnovers. Now, imagine if that game had been in the link. Now, I do understand the field was messed up for everybody, so you can't say Green Bay would have made more plays as well. I understand that, but yeah, you could say they let us off the hook. We let them off the hook because we could have ran away with that game. They could have possibly ran away with that game early.
We made more plays that mattered at the right time. So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Because look at that. What game was that? Was that one of them games? The team was getting ready to go up. And they fumbled at the goal line. Who was that? Nah, that was
talking about this year. Oh, that was that the Dolphins?
Was that Jacksonville? No, I think it was Jacksonville.
And they was playing the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And they
Jacksonville.
So they was getting ready to.
Yeah, that turned around the whole game. So instead of them going up, I think they was getting ready to go up. What 10, like
maybe 17, something like that.
I think it might have been 17 or something like that. So instead of them going up like 17-7 or something like that or whatever,
took points out the board.
It ended up being like
they took points out the board.
Yeah, Miami went down the field and scored and basically came back and won after that. So it's about making the plays. It's about making the plays because you can look like you was gonna make a play all game, but you got to make the plays. But Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the overreactions for week 1. We know AJ Brown is the man. We know what Smitty is. I can't wait to see Jahan Dotson get incorporated into that thing.
I really didn't have
Get him.
I didn't have any worries about the offense coming into the season. Like, we didn't lose nothing. And, the only question mark really was how good was Cam gonna be replacing Kelsey, and how good was Mekhi Becton gonna be playing guard for the first time. Them was the only 2 questions really.
I saw some people. We didn't even touch on Cam, but I saw some people. I saw somebody mad that they made a post basically saying, "Man, look, bring Kelsey back," and I basically said to them, I was like, "Man, look, get a man some time. You gotta," and it ain't like he had a bad game. Like, yeah, did he have a couple bad plays? Yeah, but he didn't have a bad game. And you gotta even look back at Kelsey. Kelsey, when nobody was really talking about Kelsey like that until that Super Bowl year. Now, was he doing some of the stuff he was doing before that? He was doing some of the stuff, but he wasn't really looked at how he was looked at until that Super Bowl season. Like, somebody even was made a video. I can't remember who it was, but they was making a video of how, like, the year before that, Kelsey was almost on his way out of the league. Like, he wasn't gonna be the starting center no more. And I was like, dang, I forgot all about. He did have some bad games, or whatever. So Kelsey wasn't Kelsey right away. It took a while for Kelsey to be Kelsey.
BG. I die on that hill. How we don't give players enough time. Well, I mean, that's across the league though, but specifically the Eagles. Like, to know what we did, especially for BG, like, we should be patient with. And I'm not saying be super patient, because I mean, it was time for Rager to go. He had enough chances. But everybody don't get that chance because everybody not a first round draft pick.
Right. Yeah, I feel like see, situations like that, when you a first round draft pick or whatever round, it don't even if you're not a first round draft pick, you don't got that 5th year option. So when you coming up on that 4th year and you been looking the same the whole time, it's time to give up on you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying re-sign the guy, whatever, but what I am saying is give somebody at least a good 3 seasons, because about the time that 3rd season kick in, you gonna see what you got.
Fair. I don't remember. Remember like how long BG actually had? Because it felt like forever, and that probably only was because he was a first round draft pick.
I really don't remember because I wasn't
watching football.
I wasn't paying attention as to. Yeah, I was, but I wasn't paying attention as close to like
development.
So back then, how I used to watch football is like not how I watch football now. Back then, it was kind of like whoever was the starter was the starter. I wasn't really worried about. I wasn't really worried about who,
because I know I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't really worried about the backups or what they was doing. In my mind, it was like the coaches gonna get whoever they did. Like I wasn't really worried about who was panning out and who wasn't. In my mind, just put the best players on the field. I'm watching the game, so I wasn't paying close attention to guys panning out and not panning out like that, unless I was just like a fan of them before they got there or something like that.
Yeah, I need to look that up after we get off of here, because I wonder how much time they gave BG.
I think it was
because I feel like he went through a couple coaching staffs before he settled on like success. Because I know he was there. He was definitely there for Chip Kelly. Well, I mean, he was there for all of it. But I mean, Andy. Did Andy draft him? I think Andy might have drafted him.
If it was, that might have been Andy last season.
I feel like Andy might have drafted him, and then no, it wasn't coaches. It was defensive coordinator. So he had to go through a few systems till he found will actually work for him.
And, look at Hassan Reddick. He wasn't getting off his first few seasons. It took him a while to find out where he should play at and how to play there. I mean, me personally, I don't be trying to rest these guys. A lot of people put too much, even with the whole Huff thing. Anytime I hear people start bringing up how much a player make, I don't even want to hear you. I don't even, for real. They keep talking about, well, we paying them $17 million. Why is, bruh? Don't none of that matter. We should be worried about putting the best players out there on the field. I ain't worried about how much they paying Huff. If Nolan Smith out there on the field, for whatever reason, Nolan Smith out there on the field, I'm not about to be counting nobody's pockets and saying they should be on the field. I hate when people try to justify somebody being on the field or not being on the field based on how much they're getting paid.
That's I don't like that either, because I mean, ain't nobody doing that at your job. Ain't nobody saying you making $50,000 a year. You need to be returning more emails than
that. For real though. But that's all I got for this episode, man. Just a little thoughts on week 2.
So y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get us in the algorithm. This has been another dope episode of the Down South Philly Show. Make sure you tune in for the next one.
We out of here.